Welcome to the Why Music podcast, where we talk to independent artists about their journeys, the inspirations behind their music, and ultimately why they make music. This next artist is a North Carolina native with a passion for delivering something new. Focused on the mood and soul of his music, he tries to define the power of music as an art form. Bridging the gap between R&B and hip hop, every song takes on a different vibe. Welcome, Macizm.
What's goody, everybody? It's your boy Macizm. I make music for the mind, body, and soul. If you don't know, now you do.
Why don't we kind of start off with where your journey with music kind of all started?
Okay. Well, honestly, truly, it started off when I was like relatively younger. I kind of started off dancing first. Dancing was the thing, and I was like the only person in my neighborhood that had like a computer, and like all the kids would come over, and then it was like that's when YouTube was kind of going crazy for us. And they all come to my crib, and we just basically hop on YouTube, like do a lot of like looking up crumping and like dancing and other pop lock videos, and then next thing you know, like it started to get over to the point where we was making music, and it was like older kids in our neighborhood. They used to like have like a little group called Block Huggers, BH for short, and they thought they was cool rapping, and me and my friends were like, "Well, we could do that too." So then we just started rapping from that. So that was a little while back, like I'll say 2006, 2004 or 5 or something like that, and then it kind of carried over to during football. Like I would make like our anthem when we come out on the football team, like us rapping and stuff like that. So it just slowly started evolving, from that. But it started off like super young though.
So, how did it kind of jump from dancing to like actually like making music? Like, what kind of sparked that interest? What kind of got that whole thing started?
Honestly, it's just I guess like 'cause, in every song you dance to, there's music involved, And then I think what happened was like when we heard other people like rapping and singing over like beats like that, it's like we could do that too. So it kind of just made sense to do it. So it's like not only am I making like dance like videos and stuff like that, but I'm also like rapping over some of the beats. But I didn't really take it serious until like college for real, because I always had a passion for it. Like we used to love writing haikus and like middle school, and then like it just made sense to just carry over. And when I got to college, I was like at one of my homeboys like dorms, and he was just showing us this music, and I'm just like, why have I stopped this? Like I should take this serious now because like I'm not playing football anymore, so like why not just take this serious? So I just kind of like took it like that.
Was there like a point in time along kind of that you kind of already touched on it with that answer, but was there ever like a point
Mhm.
that kind of hit for you that was like, this is something that I can see myself doing? This is something that I really want to like commit to doing like professionally, like for real? Like, what was there like kind of like a turning point?
Mm. Well, okay, so I want to say yay and nay because honestly, truly, like I didn't really take it like to that point of like wanting to be professional until like probably sophomore junior year. Like I'm always like I always loved the ability to express myself, and music was just the avenue that I did that with. But I really didn't take it seriously until like one of my friends, one of my friend of my friends. I got a lot of friends apparently. A friend of my friend, basically, they ran the editorial for the college's campus, and like for arts and stuff like that, or just everything that's happening on the campus. And she wanted to basically write a piece on me about me and my music. It's like, because I don't know a lot of people know this, but I'm also a computer scientist. I went to undergrad and grad school for computer science. So, so like she wanted to know like how do you balance being an artist and also being full-time student, 18 credit hours, doing computer science stuff. Like how do you balance that? And I was like, shit, I just do it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's one of those things. Like, I love doing what I was doing. And it's like, so to me, it's like I'm an artist in all forms. Like taking ideation, or ideation to creation to reality type ordeal. And you could do that with, your words that you speak, bringing that to life, or you could bring that with a conceptual idea of an app idea. You can bring that to life. So that's how I considered it all to be packaged into who I am now. So that's kind of that. But that was a turning point though, like me being the face on a school editorial, like magazine, kind of like okay, maybe I can actually do something with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it brought some attention to, like, the craft that you've been working on and everything, and it's like, if somebody's that
Exactly.
interested in you and, like, what you've been doing just because you're doing what you're doing, it's like, well, shit, maybe there's actually, like, something going on here.
Right, right, right. Exactly, exactly.
So, when it comes to the music itself, is there something in particular, like a common theme or idea behind a lot of the stuff that you, like, write about, like, more on the lyrical side?
Mm. Oh, okay. So like, so with that, like, so I'm gonna go from the latter to the beginning of what you just said. But like, far as the content, like the inspiration I draw from, it's all emotional based. Like, it could be like exaggerated love stories or exaggerated situationships I've been in, and I kind of over exaggerate the point of like me not being mature enough to do the right things in a relationship, or just staying it because it feels good to be in that situation instead of like being a mature person that I am. But my music is evolving now, so I'm being more straightforward of like the growth and showing the maturity within it. But it all roots between like relationships. So like I say, I make something like I make something smooth, something. One of my catchphrases is something smooth for the soul because there's always like a neo soul or a melodic, execution on the ballads that I do. But like far as the lyrics itself is always definitely I came from a strong like hip hop influence. So I started off rapping way more like conscious rap, way more before I started getting into my singing bag because like I have a lot of big influences like Frank Ocean, Chris Brown, Erica Badu, and that's where the ism come from Erica Badu because Erica Badu has this album called Baduism, and it kind of just like opened a whole different like spectrum in my mind about how I see music. So that's how I kind of wanted to go towards it, like the neo soul. I mean, I used to say new neo soul, but it's like new soul, so it's like it's kind of the thing with that, but at the same time it's like I'm creating music for the mind, body, and soul, and it's like different aspects. So the mind meaning conscious hip hop, body meaning energetic motion, moving, and soul is just literally like soul food that nourishes your body, like the sounds. So it's like it's a composite of all three of those characteristics who make me who I
That's very well said.
am.
I didn't really think like I didn't really think the mind, body, soul thing was like three kind of separate things like all together. It was, but that's, I mean, you have reasoning for all three, which is really cool. How do you think like how does the process go from like you're writing these songs and how do you go about translating that into the song like from a sonic perspective? Like how do you go about translating it into the actual like music part of the song?
Well, from the sonic perspective of it, I mean, I don't really think too much, honestly. Like, I literally just go into the studio. Like, it's like sometimes I'm just driven, like, I need to make this song today. Like, not a particular song, but what happens is most of the time, subconsciously come up with the concept of the song as I'm like freestyling it because it works both ways for me. Like, I can listen to a beat and I don't have access to a studio, so I write the lyrics right then and there because I'm inspired. I'm all off impulse. I need to do it right then and there. If I don't do it, I'm not gonna come back to it, or if I come back to it, it's gonna be a different spin. But usually it's all off impulse, and I just say whatever's on my heart at the time, and I subconsciously write words for it when time as I come more involved with the beat, or if I sit down with it more and just let it speak to me. But usually, I'm just literally just like taking the automated approach and just freestyling, and then finding the melodies that I love that sounds real good to my ear, and then basically using my penmanship to find the words for it that fits to whatever the chorus I created first or whatever the essence is of the song, the embodiment of the music. So it's kind of like my formulae, I would say.
So since you kind of work off of impulse, which I think many of us do, um,
Yeah.
what like do you ever find like do you often write something in its entirety, like all then and there, at least like a draft? Or is it like, do you ever find yourself, oh, I put together a chorus and then it's like, I don't have the substance for the verse at the moment and you come back to it? But I mean, like you
Mhm.
said, like if it's off of impulse, like sometimes if you wait on it, it's going to be a different take. So like, how do you kind of work that out?
I mean, well, it varies, like, depending on what the beat is. And like usually when I hear a sound or sonics, I automatically, would like I said like before, like I'll create that melody going through and I do it like sometimes for the whole song, it just depends on how inspired I am that day. Like I can do a whole song and then finish it right then and there because I already have the melodies and that. But what I do now is like I like to take time with the music. It's quality over quantity. You know, I can release 1,000 songs a year, but at the same time, will all those 1,000 songs be great? No. I mean, but I could do 100 songs in a year, and all them songs would be fire and to be like classics. So that's my mentality. It's just sometimes I just get it out and then just sit with it, let it breathe, let me feel all the emotions that come across, in it. Like how did I feel? Reflect on the moment that I was in when I was trying to write this. So that's kind of the thing I do. But sometimes, yeah, I finish that shit right then and there. But most of the time, I kind of like just want to sit back and just like let it talk to me more. Like just listen to the cadences and like how I was moving inside of the pockets of the beat and just figuring out like what else can I do with this, before actually solidifying words. Because once you say those words, the real words is concrete in at a time. And it's usually kind of hard to reverse that. I mean, I know people like Kanye and other people don't mind going back rewriting verses, but I feel like once I say something that's set in stone, so it's like I don't usually go back to like doing it. I feel like it has to be, to me, at least 90, 95%. That's what I'm going to say. Probably small words I'll tweak or phonics or how I say things or abbreviate some things, but other than that, it's pretty much already done if I start writing.
So, do you ever find that there's any discrepancy, like if you take a song that you kind of wrote in its entirety when you wrote it versus songs that you kind of have revisited? Do you think there's any sort of like discrepancy as far as like the coherency of the song, since like you're kind of approaching different parts of it from different mindsets on different days versus
Mhm.
doing it all at once? Or like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no. Like definitely, I definitely experienced that before. But like as with time, you build that muscle where you can like you'll listen to it, and then you're like, okay, so like, no, this is kind of how it should be. Like, or you just like it's just a feeling. I like everything's a feeling based with me. Like, if that feeling is still there, there's no disruptions in the frequencies of what the emotion was in the song. I'm completely fine with that. But at the same time, it's like sometimes drastic change is needed because you don't want to always let people. I mean, well, okay, so that's two different perspectives. I'll say like you don't want to always let the user know like, okay, this is going to be the same thing ongoing. You kind of want to like take them on a journey. So that's my whole goal, is to take them on a journey. But sometimes like it doesn't turn out the way it does. So that's why I usually just spend more time like revisiting, like just take a year off, or sometimes it'd be less than a year. And I just be feeling in that moment that same emotion that I tapped to in that time to revisit that and write that. So, so like it's just a matter of time. So like I usually just sit with it and then find it. That's the patience that I build up over time to do stuff like that though.
No, that makes total sense. I know, because it's like you can't always finish a song right then and there. That's not
Right.
like realistic, and it's not a good like way to be. Like you should be able to just write a piece of it and then come back to it. So like it totally makes sense. And it is, like you said, building that muscle is a big part of it.
Mhm.
How would you describe your music for someone who's never heard it?
Describe my music. That's a good question. So like I would say like far as my research and like trying to be like niche specific, I'll say like alternative R&B, alternative, hip hop, for just the perspectives of the genre. But far as like how to describe the actual sound is free flowing. It's like euphoric melody with a hip hop spin, like bedroom trap with soul, and just an experience. It's a journey. It's literally a journey. Like just imagine immersing yourself in like all type of sounds. Like okay, just imagine yourself like falling down in a cloud, and then everything is just wrapping around you, and embracing you for whatever you are, and just being, you can be open, because I do a lot of emotional pieces, and it's like I don't care about letting people know like my heart is on my sleeve. I mean, obviously I know like not who to trust and stuff like that, but at the same time I'm strong into my personal self to know like this is what I felt in that emotion at that time, and it's okay to share it with the world. So this, I'll say just something like that. It's just knowing that these euphoric melodies, these transcending, like floaty type of vibes, but at the same time, it's a warm embrace at the end, letting you know it's okay. I'll say that's how I explain my music. But there are twists too. That was just the soul perspective of it. The bouncy motion of the body. Turn up. Everybody understand those. Like everybody understand the mind and understand the body completely. People know dance. I would go to the club. I'm gonna dance. People know if I want to like hear poetry or like conscious music, I'm listening for those. But a lot of people don't understand what a soul is. So that's why I try to put more emphasis on that portion of the three, because I can still incorporate it in those two other elements. But, I feel like that's something that people don't really understand in a sense, because like you can ask anybody what is a soul and they'll say like what they think it is, but it's like the more you ask, the more it'll be different, variations to it. So I was like, just want to make my own variation so people can actually understand that in a sound perspective, I would say.
No, that makes total sense. The mind and body, like it's mind is self-explanatory, body self-explanatory. The soul is uh, where there's that question mark, really. But I think
Yeah, exactly.
very well defined as far as what your music is in like a description. That's always a challenging question because it's like, how do you describe music when it's like just this whole like sound experience? So,
Exactly.
is there, kind of going off of that, is there a release or a song that you've put out that you think kind of best embodies you as an artist? Like if you had one song to show someone to kind of sell them on you as an artist, like following you, listening to your music, all that stuff, do you know what that song would be?
So there's no generic song that I would just say because like all my songs are different. Like they have different vibes. They're like some same aesthetics, but at the same time, it's like I would have to get to know you first, and just like me, not actually like spend years getting to know you, but like me after having a quick conversation with you, hearing some of the things, like checking some of your facial cues or whatever, your body language. I'm like, okay, this is the type of person that might enjoy this type of track. So I'm more like oh, what type of vibe are you are? Okay, I got a song just for that. So like, but I mean, obviously, I'll say my most recent song, I'll say Old Soul, because I don't know, like, if there's like, I mean, I feel like I'm an old soul, I'm like, it's a lot of stuff that happens right now that people, like they not really nuanced into like going out and always partying and always being the forefront. They want to be laid back, they want to be chill, but it's like it's a hopeless romantic, but growth and maturity of understanding what you want in your love languages, and what do you expect out of something. And if somebody's not meeting you in the same threshold that you're meeting them, then you know that it's not for you, and you should just let that go, plain and simple. So that's kind of this. I would say, if you're out there, you're watching this, you feel that type of way, that song is for you. But if you, let's say you're just down bad and you feel like people sleeping on you, and you're on the way to making that achievement. Another song I made is called Can't Believe It. Because like you can't even believe yourself that you're accomplishing the things that you want to do. And then if you just tired of people just like technically just sleeping on you like 100%, that's a wrap. Like, so it's like it's a lot. I can keep going on and on and on and on by the songs. I think I got like 60 plus more, probably like 50 plus songs out currently right now. So like if you watching this, go check out the Under the Moon playlist. It's like a whole discography of like most of all my music outlets right now. So it's like a couple hours long, I think. Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like you need one of those BuzzFeed quiz things that it's like answer these questions and it'll tell you like which of your songs to listen to.
I mean, I feel like that'll probably be like the best thing to do. I'm not even gonna lie. Like that'll actually I'm gonna incorporate that into an application. So I'm just like, oh, you want to follow? Like, I have a website, but at the same time, I'm gonna build an application and like, tell me what type of music, what type of person you are, quiz me, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
And then I like, this is probably the best song for you to listen to. So yeah. Thank you for that, because I'm gonna use that.
No
I'm gonna build
problem.
something out just for that.
Do you have a song that you would recommend to me just from the conversation that we've had so far?
Well, where you're kind of got a structure going on, so I can't say in general because like this is like our first conversation, and you're
Right.
asking me questions, so it's not like me asking you questions to get to know you better. So
Mhm.
I can't really say something off the top, but based off like your laid back and chill like personality of what I've seen so far, hmm, Honestly, I don't know. That's the interesting thing. That's wow. Well, yeah, you have to give me some time to, you
No
know,
worries.
like get to know you more. I'm
Yeah.
a stalk your social media, and then I'm like, Ava, this is the song for you. Based off your personality, I see this is probably the best song for you. So yeah, give me some time. You know.
I'll be waiting for my BuzzFeed quiz results.
Okay, I got you. I got you. You are such and such because you like such and such. Boom.
Exactly. What kind of motivates you to keep making music, keep writing new stuff, keep putting it out, invest your time and potentially money into that kind of thing?
Shit, honestly, truly, I mean, people say this the same things over and over again. Like, I think this is a necessary thing. Like, I want to get my mom a house, or or a new car, or something like that. I want to just be able to say I'm doing those things. But all honestly, like, what drives me is just literally the ability to express myself. Like, obviously, I would like to have the fame, enough of it, not too much, because I can see what it can do to some people. I'm good off that. But I mean, I just want to I just want my art to be appreciated, and just seeing that my art is being appreciated and understanding like what I'm bringing to the table. That literally what motivates me, because like, okay, there's other people out there in the world that actually feel the same way I feel. So so I'm going to continuously be in the left. Well, yeah, the left portion of your brain, because I think the left portion of your brain is a creative part, right? I think right is logic, but either way, I don't know. Is it? That's the right way. Yeah, either
Uh,
way, yeah, left part of your brain. Is it
I
left or
think it's
right?
the right
Right,
part
left.
because it's like right part of your brain, left hand, and left-handed people are supposed to be more creative. So I think it's actually the right part of your brain. I'm not
Well,
100%
I
sure, but
am
I'm pretty,
left-handed, so
I am also
okay, okay.
left-handed.
I'm about to Google this right now. Oh, see, hey, look, see,
See, that's what it
boom,
is.
see, it's a few of us out there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's a few of us out there. Sheesh. I was about to say, I was like, literally, like, now I'm starting to think like different stuff now. It's like, hold on, you getting me off topic. Hold on. But yeah, so motivation, guys. I'm just motivated off of just, feeling appreciated. At the same time, just, having something to express myself out of, this crazy world. Everything's like overwhelming. I can have a safe place to go and do that. But also, like, I mean, of course you want to get monetized off that, but I mean, I haven't seen a lot of money off of it. I mean, I've seen a lot of money off like skills that I've been building with it. But that's okay. It's gonna happen when it does. And when it does, we're going. It's a bunch of songs that you guys can catch up on and see the journey. So so like it's cool for now, but at the same time, it's like I'm doing it for me, not doing it for no external sources or trying to show off for friends or family. I'm just doing it for me, I think that's good enough for me, honestly.
No, and I think that's the best way to do it. And I think that I don't know if you can always like necessarily tell, but I feel like the people that go farther are the people that are doing it not even like just for themselves, but kind of like writing from that place of I'm not here to tell other people's stories. I'm here to use my own voice to articulate these own things. Because the thing is even if it's just your own experience, there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to relate to that same thing because it's we're all human. We all go through the different things. The story might look different, but it's
Right,
the same reason that we can all
right,
relate to some of the same music. It's the reason that certain people are so famous off of their music because it's like that is something that connects with so many different people. Like, and like
hmm,
like the most authentic ones are going to do the most as far as impact goes.
right,
So if you're doing it like for
right.
yourself, you're writing from a place for you, and it'll work, it'll do the work for you, the music.
Hmm. No, you definitely right. I think I had a conversation with a friend not too long ago. It was like I'm trying to figure out what to say, and every time I play a song, like okay, so I'm building this community with a bunch of the artists that's in the local artists. If you're out here watching, build a community with your local artists because you're building together, and it's like as you grow, like the collective actually like benefits from the group, like the group's labor. So like yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now. But at the same time, it's like I was talking to a friend of mine at the event that we had yesterday, and she was like, "How do you come up with this? Like, and I like these words, and like, how I don't know, like I'm just want to say thank you because you're like so strong and like being able to express your emotions and not care what people say." And I'm just like, shit, I like it started off like with me not being able to say that, but to that person. So I found that it was better for me to put it into music and send that over subliminally. So like they'll know if I'm talking about them or not, or just see how they feel about it. So like I found more comfortability instead of being straightforward. Or as of right now, a human being, I am more straightforward now than I was when I was younger. But I was just afraid of conflict, and confrontation with people. So I would just put it in music and then expect that to, do what it needs to do, you know. So yeah, yeah.
No, that makes total sense. It's like you can only be like you see it a lot where people are like writing songs about either like situations they've had with other people, and it's just like, how direct do I really want to be? Like
Hmm.
how is this going to be received by the person that I wrote this about, and what are we kind of thinking here? Some people are just like pull the trigger, like the person's name is like the title of the song. Other people like dance
Hmm.
around it a little bit, but I mean, it's all personal experiences and it's all real stories that and oftentimes are
Right.
experiences that we've all kind of had in some capacity. So
No, you're definitely right. Like I'll say it like this: Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers, or how they said it, or the opposite way: trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm dancing around the subject because the only reason why I'll say dance around the subject because it'll be made is since it's so not up forward to the person's name, a lot of people can relate to it or that feeling itself. So it's kind of a play on that too as well because I know more people be relatable to it just because like it's not a name because once you name something, it's a totally different thing. Without giving it a name, everybody can like associate it to it. But once there's an actual name, it's something about naming things. Like there's a lot of power in that. So that's why I try to just keep it general, but like highly specific.
yeah, that's always the tricky part because you want it to be a universal experience, but you also want to include that detail. So it's like, because if you're just kind of glazing over it, you're not going to be able to connect as much as you would if you go into detail. But yeah,
Mhm.
but names are always a weird thing. I mean, people get detailed down to the nitty gritty, but the name always doesn't seem to make the cut. It's interesting. So, and a fun question I always like to include is if you could open for any artist, who would it be?
Jeez, I want to open up for a lot of artists, but I've been having dreams lately that I've opened up for Chris Brown and I opened up for Lil Wayne too as well. And it'll be great to open up for Frank Ocean and Erica Badu, but I think number one on my list would definitely be Chris Brown. I know if I made it, if I could open up for Chris Brown.
That I mean, he's a big name, so that definitely would validate any sort of work that you've kind of put into it
Right,
more than most things. Getting the
right.
opportunity to like
Kendrick,
play at a concert that
yeah,
plenty of people are clearly going to, like that would
mm,
be just probably a very surreal experience.
yeah. Him and I can't not like not add Kendrick Lamar. Like Kendrick Lamar, like if like anything I'll say like rapping wise, I relate more to Kendrick Lamar and Wale, but like singing wise, definitely Chris Brown and Frank Ocean. Like that's like I grew up off Chris Brown. Like I couldn't be so yeah, so my brother was like when Michael Jackson was still alive, he was always listening to Michael Jackson. I was a Michael Jackson fan too as well. I am still one. And it was like he like the older brother was like, you get your own thing, get your own thing. And then when Chris Brown came out with Run It and he was dancing, I was like, that's him. That's the next Michael. I already know it. I felt it and he lived up to it. And I'm just like, he's a real big influence on, my singing and stuff like that too as well. So yeah, Breezy is that guy.
um, what is it that you think sets you apart from other independent artists?
Mm. Well, honestly, truly, it's a lot. I'll say, like, first of all, it's like my choice of music, my ear for music. But I hear people say ear for music a lot. But at the same time, it's like it's just my style. It's like what the skills that I have. Like I have a technology background. I can incorporate that and make something beautiful for people. Like we talking about the metaverse. I'm working with metaverse related stuff. So I can just incorporate my music into that. And my actual goal is to bridge technology and music together, from an immersive standpoint. So it's just a combination of all the things that I currently have in my exposure. Like not only I'm making like fire ass music, I also have a mind that can build things and then just, like incorporate that into the actual technology itself. So like far as like, not only my fashion sense too as well, because I'm a pretty fly individual. It's just a combination of all of these different. Just imagine going into a fucking crayon box, right? And just grabbing all the colors and just like making a mark, and whatever comes out from the end, that's me. There's no clear cut, like, I mean, there are clear cut like standards to it, but like, the way I am, it's like so many composite things brought together. Well, I mean, well, so many individual pieces come together to be one, like form something. It's like, because I think I'll take it from this perspective too as well. Like, I'm not a good drawer, but what I can do is like, after I finish like scribbling and drawing a bunch of boxes and doing everything, you will see a very picture. You will see something abstract. And I think that conception itself, that's kind of resembles who I am when it comes to music and everything else.
Now, that's, I think, a really kind of creative way to put something like that. I mean, it's we are all like products of our environment, but it's like you've got multiple different of these pieces that in a like casual situation might not interact with each other, but like combining them kind of puts together, like fits the mold or builds the mold, whatever, however it would be put, like
Yeah.
of like you as a person. So it's like it's
Mm.
a cool, the abstract art thing is a cool kind of way to put it. And that's like, especially because it's like you're doing that and then it's like that is representative of you. It's like next level, like
Yeah. Yeah.
little mind blowing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, and like most of the stuff I say is actually subconscious, and like how it comes together. But like after speaking on it and actually seeing who I'm becoming, it makes sense. So that's why, like, I know I'm saying a lot of poignant things, but at the same time, it's like it took me a while to figure out who I was, you know. And once I figured out some of the elements of it, I just started to just poke and go deeper into it. And then now I'm able to not only help myself out, but help other people out identify things in their brand, like to help them grow that much faster. Because the whole goal is to give back. Once I get to my Jay-Z level, I'm definitely giving back to people who have the same passion and drive to do the same things I'm doing, help them get there a lot quicker so they have more time with their life to enjoy. So that's one of the things I really look forward to. But I mean, obviously it takes time, and whoever's willing to listen, you can give a person a fish, or you can teach them how to fish, and they can last for a lifetime. So it just depends on what you want from it. I'll give you what you ask specifically, and just build from there, or not at all. No hard feelings. I understand. It just takes time for you to keep bumping your head until you don't want any more bruises. So
I like the way you said that. It's just really cool. Um, what impact do you want to have with your music, with your artistry,
mm. Well, I
just
mean,
overall?
honestly, truly, impact. That's a that's a really question I'm still searching for, because like what do we define impact? Impact can be a lot of different things. It can be from a divinity standpoint. Like, I'm strong in my religion for Christianity. I say that in my music all the time. And not outside of that, I'm also active in my church too as well. I'm a deacon, and also I help my pastor do like actual reach, like membership drive, like helping out with Facebook ads and other stuff like that, so he can have more people in there, because I'm not there in person anymore. So it could be that portion, like just letting people know it's okay to be closer with God. It's okay, to understand, like Jesus was like just like us in our flesh, and moving forward with that. But also, just like, I'll say it from the standpoint of like me being a computer scientist, I just want a digital footprint where like it's like I'm a founding father of something, and like every time you reference something in history, that's me, and that's the impact that I want to have. Like, I'm doing shit like that now, but at the same time, it's the fact that I just want it to be like a staple. So like, even if I'm gone and my children are here and my children's children are here, and they want to know who Grandpa was, they look at the internet and it's just a swarm of information just about the things that he did, and the type of things he did, and everything that he helped people with. And since we're in a digital age, I want to be a forefather of something, and be able to let that be archived on the internet for worlds and millions of people to see. Because like I have access to it now that other people before us didn't have access to. So I'll say that's the type of impact I want to have. Far as reach wise, but far as like actual impact, I mean, I just want to promote positivity. I'm a very optimistic person. I mean, I didn't come from much, but I mean, I'm constantly growing, like 1% better each day. And if I can just translate that over to somebody else, let them know like patience is a virtue, but at the same time, it's like long as you steadfast, like acting with intention, you'll reach anything you desire to be. And it all starts from your mind. And also, one last thing too, as well, the Charles Darwin theory. It's not the strongest, it's not the most, fastest or the smartest. It's the most willing to adapt. And that's the one thing that stuck with me in high school. And I take that and I apply that to everything that I do. It's like I don't have to be the best singer, even though I'm a great singer. I'm gonna say that. I have to be the best rapper, even though I'm a great rapper. But at the same time, it's like when the times come, I'm willing to adapt to anything to push myself that much forward in evolution. So yeah.
I think that's awesome. I think whether it is achieved or not, obviously we always want it to be, but like I think shooting
Exactly.
for that kind of like overarching impact, like I want the things that I'm doing to have this lasting impact, like not just the people around me, not just the people that follow me, but the people that are like from time in time on, like you still get people that are influenced by like Michael Jackson, and he's been
Exactly.
gone for a handful of years now, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like he's not been doing the music thing for a good period of time. You still get the Elvis influence. I mean, just to name a few
Exactly.
of the
Yeah.
like
The
original like
greats. Yeah.
greats. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Bob Dylan, same deal. Like the like
Mhm.
old like folk guys, like there's a reason that their impact is still around. I mean, not everybody's going to achieve that same kind of impact because
Right.
if everybody had that same kind of impact, it's like nobody had that impact really at all. But like
Exactly.
aiming for that kind of thing is just kind of like this greater purpose. And I feel like that makes doing the actual work to get there that much more like rewarding, that much more enjoyable. I feel like we should all strive to have some sort of bigger picture impact than just,
Mhm.
I want to do what I'm doing, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it's always bigger than we ever think it will be.
And even if you
Um,
don't think how big it is, it's bigger.
yeah, yeah. Even
Yeah.
if you think
Yeah.
it's big, it's likely bigger than that.
Exactly.
So I think that actually kind of brings us to the question I always finish with, and the question that I kind of bodied this whole podcast around, which is also the title of the podcast. Why music?
Mm. Why music? Well, okay, that's definitely a great question. It's more to me. It's more so not why music, is why not music. Because like I've like every portion of my body, I'm an artist in all forms, in all aspects. And music is the only thing that I can continuously go to and continuously create. And there's no, everything is subjected into it. So it doesn't matter if people don't love it. It doesn't matter if people really love it. It's like, it's always go back to what it can be relatable to. And the human experience is all about relations and communication. And music is the form of that, connecting with people on a granular level, and it is something about that I embody and deeply the creativity aspect of it. So music for me is my why, and why not do it? Because like if honestly truly like I don't even know what the fuck I'd be doing right now if I didn't have music. Cause like music is like the real reason why I'm doing these 9 to 5s, because I'm taking the money from that and fueling my music. And if I wasn't doing music, where would I be? Like, I don't even honestly, I don't know. And that's a real question. I'm not just saying that out of like talking out of the side of my neck. Like, I'm so serious. Like, music has literally been driving me to do better, be better, and it's like it's teaching me a lot of lessons too as well. So to that point, that's why I feel like music for me is the epitome of who I
I think that's a great answer. I love the whole. It's not why music, it's why not.
am.
Because really, like,
Same.
if that, I mean, we're doing it for a reason, you know? Why
Hmm.
not? All right. Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Why Music podcast. Check back again next Tuesday for another conversation with another independent artist. Thanks for listening.